we are traveling with Kit. Ahoy! We are Lea and Jacob, and together we have remade this car to livable van, which we intend to travel in with our half-wolf companion Adri.
And after the end of a long journey to Georgia, which took us almost 8 months, we had to stop with the travels for some time.
Because our family have grown by one new little travel.
And after the first year we tried a quick test adventure to Polish Baltic Sea, where we didn't experience any complication. So after additional half a year we decided to finally try a longer journey.
On our list there was still a country we wanted to return to.
And that country is Albania, because it is the beginning of March and tourist season in Albania starts at the end of the March. And by our opinion at that time, we thought this is the best time to visit the country before it will be full of people on vacation.
We definitely won't be able to cover such a long distance in one go, so we stopped at the places we visited last time we left our big trip home.
In Croatia we took a short stop in only one place we know that outside of the touristic season we won't be bothering anyone, with amazing beach that we enjoyed very much, even our small traveler.
This time we had limited time to travel. We didn't stay here for too long and continued south.
Where we made a few quick stops in our second most favorite country, Montenegro. Even here we visit places that we liked very much from our last travel. But it seems that these places won't be deserted anymore, since it looks like there will be some kind of urbanization construction done pretty soon. So we had to make the most of this place, since next time once we will be passing by, it doesn't have to be accessible for us anymore.
We visit few more places in Montenegro.
Even some that we might consider, in the far future, to buy, to live above the city of Podgorica.
But this is looking for very far future. We also finally tried a beach under the city of Ulcinj. The last time we were here it was flooded and full of annoying mosquitoes.
But this time the swamps were dry and the road was no longer underwater, and the beach was great. Because for us introverts, it is absolutely amazing experiencing such places with no people around. But with it comes also limitations, like that we need to drive to these places in not so ideal year seasons. Nevertheless, we got the used to cold sea and not so hot weather south. In any way, it is warm enough to wear a shirt, well, at least during the day.
Well, and traveling with our new little traveler comes with also additional adaptation.
Like when someone wants to mix his tea with a teaspoon and have to go behind the van in order not to disturb the little one.
And despite this limitation, our family was enjoying this beach.
And finally, we are in Albania. Previously, we only explored the southern part of Albania around the city Himare and Vlore during the winter, and we really liked it.
So we decided to explore this time the lowland of Albania, everything from Vlora up to north, where theoretically it should be warm.
Yeah, well, it was warm alright, but unfortunately the weather was not that kind to us.
Because it rained or drizzled almost every day.
Anyway, we tried the local beaches, but it wasn't what we expected. Almost all beaches from Vlora to north are developed for very heavy tourism.
And that means a lot of hotels, long promenades, bunch of parking bans and camping bans. Luckily, because we were in Albania before the tourist season, locals didn't mind us.
But on the contrary, local dogs did. Fortunately, it wasn't too much of them like in Turkey, but anyway, I had to guard Adri a lot so he won't get in a fight with them. He does tolerate females, and luckily for him there was one friend that he found, but I had to constantly look around to avoid any confrontations with the local males in time.
And although this beach was a little dirty, our little travel and I enjoyed the beach here in our own way.
In any case, be careful on those beaches, because sometimes you will be surprised what you will find here.
Bez naštěstí.
We start moving north and we need to fill up some supplies. I have to say, in every part of Albania, a person have to be able to communicate differently. In south, you are able to communicate in English and Greek. In the middle of the country, you are able to speak Italian and find also some Italian shops and produce. And in north, I was only able to communicate in German. And feels to me like Albania is a country with an identity crisis. It is a country that is proud on the fact that it is first well known with the Greeks, or rather Illyrian pirates, living in that area known as the Adri tribe, which was then civilized by a Roman Empire, and at the end it was Islamized by the Ottoman Empire, and that stayed with them till now. However, the latest consensus I heard about in 2023 was that it's not even technically true anymore, because apparently Christians Orthodox and Catholics together, not individually, apparently outgrown the Muslim population because Islam is declining in Albania. But of course politics got involved, and so I don't want to delve deeper into this further because who knows what is the truth at the end, and it's a very sensitive topic, I would say.
Anyway, there was another reason why we came, not just because of the heat. And that was sheep cheese and this. I present you koch, also known as trileche. It's basically a simple cake, soak it in milk and with a bit of caramel.
And it is absolutely delicious.
We bought it in such a quantity that during our stay in Albania and after we left, we have koch every day.
Škoda, že to vydrží jenom 3 dny. Tam čokiru jedla.
Also be careful with the pronunciation of that word when you get here, because when I was looking for trileche and I didn't remember exactly how it was named, by accident I found out that in Albania, kilache is quite a big insult, which an Albanian won't have to tolerate you.
We continue further north in the city of Adri,
where it was smelling like a Prague railway station in the 90s after revolution. Some will know what I'm talking about. I had very kind encounter with a local that was telling me, look, this parking is free, but it is Albania, and for 200 legs I will guard your van. Translation, for 200 legs I might not rob your van. While when he was telling me this, his colleague was checking out other empty cars.
Pojď, skoč dolů. Ne, prostě on půjde dál. To je čůza. No, konečně.
Simply to say, we didn't stay here for long and move out for another beach, where unfortunately it wasn't any better. There was no turquoise sea like we experienced in Himare. It was still windy and raining, and the condition of the beach was even worse than on previous day.
Fortunately, the locals didn't bother with us during this time, so parking was free and they were slowly getting ready for the coming tourist season. Anyway, we had no choice but to keep going and hope that the things will improve. So we tried a little detour through a small mountain section.
Which wasn't exactly a good idea. And after examining the condition of the road, Jacob fortunately decided we wouldn't do another crazy road trip.
Najednou asfalt skončí a cesta začne být hodně špatná. Tak se musí jet zpátky. I přes bahno.
Such a narrow space, he managed to turn around and decided on a quieter path.
Well, I guess it comes with the age. And kids. Anyway, thanks to this little detour, we found this nice castle ruin and we had a great view. Of course, Albanian mini bunkers cannot be missed. I have to say, I would also like to build a house incorporated with the ruined castle.
When we arrived at the next beach, we didn't even record it there because we were afraid that it rained a little more, we would burrow into the sand. And if that wasn't enough, our van was constantly being followed by a dog with really bad bites. lights on his head.
Yeah, well, I guess a veteran who already worn some battle scars.
I didn't want to spend the night here, so I asked Jacob to try another place.
Well, and here we finally found a much more acceptable place, which was under the city of Shenzhen. Where there was still garbage around, but on much more acceptable scale.
And the dogs here were already smaller, and we noticed a little tag on their ears, so we think they are neutral.
They were mostly fat, so even though there was a pack of them, they didn't try to provoke or go near Adri and watch everything from distance. But even in such situation, one never knows and still has to be careful.
Like for a horse that also took a lone walk on the beach. Although the weather improved a bit, the forecast for the next day still was poor.
You see those mountains? That is already Montenegro, and Montenegro is quite known for having rainy days during this season. Thanks to that, there is a lot of water in that country. Just remember from our previous video how large the Skadarskie Jezero is becoming at the end of the winter.
To have at least one day of peace, we went to a place where we know there are no dogs, even though there will be a lot of trash here.
Which is really shame, because unfortunately it is becoming a rule that in every Muslim country the locals really don't care about their nature and their surroundings. It looks really sad.
However, it was amusing that we were in this exact place like last time, but this time we were here with our little new companion.
And it was very funny when our child decided to carry the camera for us and see the journey a little bit from her perspective.
To chytne za ten vrch a jde.
Adri must be so huge in her perspective.
Main thing is that she is not afraid of him.
And unfortunately, our journey in Albania is ending. So, what is the verdict?
Je vyvenčenej. Holky jsou na nákupu. Ty kráso. Já konečně na chvíli nemusím řídit. A můžu být chvíli v klidu. A pak mám před sebou ještě 12, možná 16 hodin do Čech. Z Montenegra pravděpodobně 16 hodin do Čech. Každopádně musím říct, že jsem z Albánie docela jako zklamaný, no. Bylo to jako hodně náročný. Jo, celou dobu hlídat Adrička, celou dobu řešit pesy, prostě ty pláže jsou udělané prostě na turistiku. Krom teda té jižní pláže, té skalnatý jako pod Vlorou, u Himáre. To je trošku něco jiného. Ale prostě všude jsou pesy a teď řešit tady s Adričkem, viď? Tak, tady s Adričkem, tak pořád celou dobu řešit pesy. To, anebo šméčka, to jsou smečky. Řešit nějaký šméčka, to bylo fakt jako náročný, každou chvíli to řešit. Ale jako tak nějak jsme si to užili. Šlo to. V rámci možnostech. Ale každopádně vím, že do Albánie už asi ne. Jedině na jih Albánie. A nebo v létě do těch hor. Že kdy my se dostaneme do těch hor? Už máme mnohem lepší místa vybraný, kam jet v létě s dodávkou. Maximálně do té jižní části nad Vloru to bylo super. Vlora Himare. Max. Možná jednou do těch hor si to zkusit, uvidíme. Ale já předpokládám, že albánský cesty nebudou v dobré kvalitě, nebudou sízný. Ale můžu se mýlit. Ale kvůli Trileče, tedy Kochu, tam jet, nebo kvůli albánskému sýru se mi fakt nebude chtít. Takže já si myslím, že jsme se podívali do Albánie naposled. Takže tak. Tak jo? Až holky přijdou z nákupů, tak jeden přesun do Chorvatska, tam přespat a hurá do Čech. Jí. Jo. Trileč je i na cestě zpět.